ask you a question. When you hear the word Jesus, what comes to your mind? Do you have this comprehension he was like a meek and mild and soppy kind of character? I mean, every year on December the 25th, Satan makes sure that Christians view him as the baby Jesus in the manger. He's no longer a baby, folks. He is second in command of the universe. He's going to smash all the evil on the earth shortly on the white horse. Revelation 19 is it. You see, when you hear the word meek, the meek shall inherit the earth, what comes to your mind, meek? You could be deceived into thinking it means weak. Now Plato, I don't follow Plato, but at least he revealed this, that the word meek, P-R-A-U-S, praus in Greek, means this. He gave this analogy of what the word praus, meek, means. He described a well-trained sheepdog who nudges the sheep into the fold, but if a wolf comes on the scene, that sheepdog will go for the throat of that wolf. That's what meek means in Greek, praus. In John chapter 2, the last few verses, many put their trust in the Messiah, but he would not put his trust in them, because Messiah knew full well what was in man. Remember the occasion where a guy came and said to him, good teacher, good teacher. Did Messiah think, that's nice, I feel quite flattered. He said, why do you call me good? Why do you call me good? Only one is good. When they tried to make him king, he ran away. Now, I'm going to read to you now Matthew 11 to encapsulate the spirit of the Messiah, who you call Jesus. Matthew 11. And we read from verse 2. Now, John the Baptizer, who was now in prison, that's in Herod's dungeon, heard about all the things his cousin the Messiah was doing. So John sent his disciples to ask the Messiah, are you really the Messiah we've been expecting, or should we keep looking for someone else? Now that's quite interesting, isn't it? When you think about it and pause on this, because John, his cousin, had baptized the Messiah and saw the Holy Spirit coming down as a dove. A tangent point here. It's obvious John didn't believe he was God incarnate. He was asking, are you the Messiah? Now we go to John 4. Pick up the traces here. Messiah told John's disciples, John the Baptist, go back to John. Tell him what you have heard and seen. The blind see, the lame walk, the lepers are cured, the deaf hear, the dead are raised to life. And the good news is being preached to the poor. And tell John, God blesses those who are not offended by me. So when John's disciples had gone, Jesus began talking about John to the crowds. Who is this man in the wilderness that you went out to see? Did you find him weak as a reed, moved by every breath of wind? Or were you expecting to see a man dressed in expensive clothes? Well, those who dress like that live in palaces, not in the wilderness. Were you looking for a prophet? Yes, he is more than a prophet. John is the man to whom the scriptures refer when they say, and he's quoting Malachi here, "Look, I am sending my messenger before you. He will prepare your way before you." I assure you, of all who ever lived, none is greater than John. Yet even the most insignificant person in the kingdom is greater than he is. From the time of John the Baptist began preaching and baptizing until now, the kingdom has been forcefully advancing, and people who want it seize it. For before John came, all the teachings of the scriptures look forward to this present time. And if you're willing to accept what I say to you, he is Elijah, the one of the prophets said would come. Now, anyone who's willing to hear should listen and understand. And he goes on. How shall I describe this generation? Now, these people are like a group of children playing a game in the public square, and they complain to their friends, "We played wedding songs and you weren't happy. We played funeral songs, but you weren't sad." What he's saying here in essence is you can't please people. John the Baptizer didn't drink wine and fasted, and you say he's demon possessed. And I, the Son of Man, feast and drink, and you say he's a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of the worst sort of sinners. But wisdom is shown to be right, but what results from it? So how do you see Messiah? He was no man pleaser. No man pleaser. An occasion when the disciples said to him, "Lord, the Pharisees were offended by what you said." Did he go, oh dear, I better sort of correct that"? He said, "Let them be." Blind guides is what they are. If the blind follow the blind, both will fall into a pit. Get to recognize through the Gospels the character of the Messiah, the greatest man who ever lived. He was no wishy-washy person. He loved far more than you and I love, but he did not water down truth. He did not accept flattery. Study the Gospels carefully, please.